Hello and happy time zone, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Parker. I am the Director of Operations and Events here at IGDA, and I'm really happy today to be joined by Sharon Fisher, the Global Head of Trust and Safety at Keyword Studios. I'll do a quick introduction. I know you're going to talk more and elaborate on your fantastic experience, but Sharon is a veteran with over 15 years of experience in the gaming industry. Trust and safety veteran, rather. She got her start as a moderator for popular children's MMO Club Penguin, which was acquired by Disney because Disney's slowly buying up everything in 2007. She had several roles at Disney until 2016 when she joined Two Hat by Microsoft, a moderation software company. She founded Real Game Consulting in 2020 to help platforms create and maintain positive community interactions. Today, Sharon leads the trust and safety team at Keyword Studios, where she oversees a team of 35 strategists and 300 plus superhero moderators. I think some of which have joined us today, which is even more exciting. The unit has established itself as an industry leader in responsible content moderation by prioritizing moderator well-being and optimizing workflows through artificial intelligence and human intelligence. So that is exciting. Sharon, it is fantastic to have you today.
Thank you so much, Parker. It's so nice to be here. I've been waiting to do more with IGDA, so it is one of the checklists of 2024 now.
I love that. I love that for you.
Thank you.
Just so everybody's aware, I've got eyes on all the chats, so please feel free to drop questions at any point in time. We are going to kind of hold them till the end, just so that way we don't get distracted by all the fantastic information being shared today. But please, please, please feel free to engage in there, and we'll relay the comments and questions at the end. Until then, I'm going to disappear, and I'm going to leave it all to Sharon, all right?
See you later. Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the 5 key questions to prioritize community health and moderation in game development. This is really close to our heart, and I will start telling you why. But first, let's start with who I am, which Parker already did an amazing job. So I'm just going to go really quick story time and tell you a little bit more about me. So as she well said, I am the head of trust and safety at Keyword Studios. This all comes as closing the circle. I see it from my past experience. I started as a moderator at Club Penguin in the Spanish side of things. Then I moved into quality control and then leadership. And there, what I was doing first was being the front line and making sure that all of our penguins were safe. We were one of the first MMOs for kids, so we needed to make sure that our game was on point. Little did we know about moderation back on the time, but we did our best, and we obviously set the bar high for others in the industry. From there, from being on the front lines, I went into the technology side of things at Two Hat, now acquired by Microsoft or part of Microsoft, where I was given the amazing opportunity of kind of change a career, and I was given a sales role there where I started learning, because I had never done sales, all about technology, and really traveling a lot with the CEO to learn anything and everything about technology, because me being younger, Latina, a woman, like there was so many questions that were thrown my way that I wanted to make sure that I was very well prepared. My CEO was really kind and taught me a lot of it. But with that, it also came the opportunity of talking to other people, in this case, developers, CTOs, to better understand our technology. So that's where I see the second kind of like piece that was preparing me for this role. And then from there, with the pandemic happening, I was like, we're all gonna die. So why don't we just quit our job in the middle of the pandemic and do what we're supposed to be doing, or what we wanted to be doing? And when I say we, I mean myself. I quit Two Hat and I started my own company, Real Game Consulting, where I was helping medium to small gaming companies to make sense, number one, of the huge volume increase that they have seen, but also about the new challenges that the industry was facing, everything or anything that goes within the real life threat cases. Obviously, we saw also a rise on that. From there, I was called by Keywords to really put together the trust and safety team within the player experience side of things. And here we are 2 years later. Parker was really kind to allude to the size of our team. And what we are doing at Keywords is making sure that all of these components of technology, but also human intelligence, they are put together in benefit of both gamers and our superheroes. We call them our moderators, better known. What we have identified is that developers play a very, very big role, believe it or not, on what we call the end of the line, which is real life threat cases. That is everything that has to do with somebody trying to harm themselves or threatening to harm others. And why do you have so much to do? And why are we coming to you for some help? This is gonna be what we are gonna be talking about. So I get very excited. My Spanglish sentence doesn't do me justice. So if you have any questions, please let me know and we will address them all at the end. So one of the pieces that I thought it was important for me to share is what does a healthy community look like, right? And a healthy community, but even one step behind, from the trust and safety perspective, what does community even mean? Because many times when I've talked to developers, the conception of community is, yes, engagement, but maybe blocking all the bad words that can be said and will be said in chat, in game, any UGC that is not appropriate for the game. But community today, as we well know, it's gonna pretty much make it or break it when it comes to games. In the past, it was an afterthought, Matt, an afterthought result, rather. If you had a good game, the community will come. Now we know that actually, even before you push your game live, you have to build a community and you have to be able to hear it. So the way that we will actually define community is where our users are going to feel respected, safe from harm, and free to express themselves, right? All of this comes obviously with a price tag and with a return of investment. But all that we're trying to do here is that whenever anybody is playing or engaged within your platform or game, they're feeling like they can be themselves without fear of any kind of retaliation. And this is my Spanglish for you. Okay, next one, please. Again, 5 key questions to help you prioritize your community moderation. I think we're gonna do a roll run here. I'm a developer. Why should I care about community health and how does it affect my KPIs? Thankfully, 15 years later, we now have some data on this. So we know that community's health is important because players or gamers are 54 more likely to spend money if they are in a good environment. The other way around, 7 out of 10 players actually avoid playing a game that has a bad reputation when it comes to toxicity. So this data, and you will see the links underneath, it's actually trying to give our community perspective and our trust and safety folks some points, because when you're moderating a community, there's not actual like I stopped something horrible for going through. You cannot really count the ROI, but the one thing that you can see is how much time and money people is spending. So that's why it's important to you in this case. Another data here. In 2023, 81% of multiplayer gamers agree that protecting players from toxic behavior should be a priority for game developers. And I think this one was really telling for us last year because now, and thankfully for the past 3-5 years, there's this opportunity for people to actually, there's always been the opportunity, but now we are more vocal about it, push back when we believe that a community is not the right environment for us. So in the past, it was very community, and they will stay there. And even if you were not okay with it, you will kind of like leave the game, but now our players and gamers are way more vocal about it, and they see developers as somebody that can actually influence the way that communities are behaving. So here are some reasons why I believe we have to have this conversation. Can I let the community management team worry about moderations once the game is ready to launch? So through my career, this has been the big conversation, right? Is I am creating the game, I'm developing different features for it. Let's figure out, let community management figure out how to deal with community. The one piece that we are trying to showcase here is when community management and developers have this early conversation, and let's make it really clear that the conversation is not to audit the features or the mechanics of the game that you are developing, but rather understanding what is your vision and where are you going with these features, what capabilities and capacities you're going to give to these features, so the community management, the moderation team, the trust and safety team can prepare accordingly. So a very, very broad example is if there's going to be a feature where the users can actually upload their content, the job of trust and safety is to tell you, hey, have you thought that that could be used for child pornography distribution? And many of these conversations, they have gone like, no, I have no idea. Thanks for letting me know. Hence, I'm gonna work on this feature in another way to have a little bit more of safety. The difference of proactiveness that happens there, it makes a big impact through the whole process, right? Because it's not just a matter that, okay, now we're live, oh my gosh, people is uploading this kind of content. You have to drop whatever you have already allocated on time and effort coming up to come back and try to mitigate, but that is already happening within. Never mind the impact that it has at the end. If people is not allowed to upload this kind of content from the get-go, then child pornography cases that we have to escalate to authorities will obviously decrease. Just to give a little bit of overview there. Now, again, safety by design is what we call this term. We together, developers, trust and safety, community management, work to make sure that we create that impact not only on our gaming community, but really on the real world. And you can see a little bit here of the statistics, or where are we having the biggest challenges, and hence why me as a leader in trust and safety turn around to you and say, hey, we need some help here, because if anything, you are the ones that can help us. I was going to say but currently it's an uphill battle that we continue to catch up to. You can help us the way that you're developing and actually designing your own features and tools. With safety by design, the bare minimum safety and moderation features should be integrated directly in the game. One of the pieces that I will always bring forward is, again, we are not criticizing, we are not trying to pull apart any of your amazing design ideas, any of your features, because that's what makes this so exciting and gaming so exciting, novelty and all of these creation. I'm not saying that, but if we were to take these specific questions or points in consideration while designing, I believe that we can make a really big impact in the real world. So player reform strategies, in-game warnings and alerts that when players attempt to share harmful content, you are able to say, hey, are you sure you want to say build the world? This is a silly example because I'm Mexican and I'm always very biased for it, but are you sure you want to say this specific phrase? And there's going to be people that's going to be like, heck yeah, here we go. And there's going to be other users like, oh no, actually I didn't mean it like this. So it's more on the education side of things rather than slapping hands. I think we are way past that when it comes to moderation. How do we reform the user? How do we educate them in a way that we don't have to base it? And this can be part of that design. The social engineer strategies are always top of mind. That means that they will encourage you to positive player interactions. Is very linked to the previous one. Instead of focusing on the negative within the community, we know that the negative percentage is actually 4 to 6%. So what if we just flip it and actually focus on the people that is there for the right reasons, and actually incentivize that behavior? And what we have seen is that the bad actors, so people that really didn't understand what the vibe of the game was, when they start seeing that people is being rewarded because they are being engaged on the right terms of use, like they are behaving in the right way with the community, and they get a badge maybe, or coins, whatever it is, we see that actually players were not in the right mindset actually make the flip, because it's like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna get anywhere without coins or badges, or I want that. And it actually creates a better conversion of the behaviors. The next one, in-game reporting tools. It sounds really, really basic, but it is so important. Where are you going to place them? When are you going to place them? Is it going to be just in the global chat? Is it going to be in the 101? All these pieces are so important. Is it going to be that everybody can talk to everybody, or just if they're friends, they go into a private chat? All of these pieces are so important, because what we have seen is the future sometimes are built and then they are left there for the user to utilize, but you just can't see what you can see. You don't know what you don't know. And given there's many privacy rules that are currently applying, and they will be more coming, but the one piece that needs to remain on top of mind is we need to be able to help or be there or provide that path in order for users to be able to report certain behaviors that are not within your terms of use. And then again, positive feedback loops. This goes very linked with human interaction or intervention, and also the tooling that you're developing, right? So there has to be a loop with the users, that they understand that if they are reporting something, if something is up, they are able to bring up your attention to the cases, and also you know what to do and how to support them through it. Number 3, please don't tell me I need to care about legislation. You're going to, aren't you? Yes, I am. And this is another piece that I believe everybody is looking into. If I'm developing this specific future, it's going to be different, the legislation that we're going to have in France versus what the UK government is expecting from us. The right of erasure, how long do I have to bring this post or this comment down? Everything is very different. Now, I always have to open this saying, I'm not a lawyer, please look for that. And I don't expect you as developers to go and talk to a lawyer. Do it if you can, but or a legal counsel rather. But you have to be aware that there's all of these pieces, because tooling is going to be necessary for your moderators or your community managers to be able to say, hey, or your client support team to be able to erase data, backtracking it to like the beginning of the history of the user and all of this. So there are some pieces there that are the bare minimum that we need to understand, and that I also want to bring up to your attention and pique your curiosity, so you can do a little bit of research, which I can give you more points of where to go to find this, but at least having it in top of mind, because you can make that difference and actually save a lot of time in the future and money, obviously, with the penalties that are about to come in, if this is something that you look into, or at least pass to your legal before publishing. These are the many legislations that I'm alluding to. Everybody, thankfully, it is now paying attention to this. When I say everybody, I say it obviously really loose. We have certain countries that are leading the way, but this is how complex this moderation side of things is. And we have to take these signals and these guides when we are moderating the content. Where is the user base? Who is asking us for the eraser? How long are we keeping the data? who are we passing this email to? Can we even pass this email to somebody else, or we will be also legally bound? Like, there's so many pieces, and that's why, again, in order to control all of this, or at least have a chance to it, if we design these kind of futures prior with this in mind, you will be helping many moderators, obviously gamers it's themselves, but there's a lot there that we can work together on. Number 4, why do we need tech? Can we just hire a bunch of people to moderate? This is one of my favorites, and this is kind of a story time for me. 15 years ago, when I started in moderation, that was the approach. Humans need to read everything because this is language specific, culture specific. We cannot trust anything or any machine to make this decision. Then machine learning happened, and then we went into the let's take words and then just lock them. In the case of Club Penguin, throw snowballs. Sometimes, like, you have to allow this kind of words to go through. If you take the last word and you pair it with pretty much any verb, it's going to be wrong. But the fact that we were going by tokens back at the time will really hinder expressivity. And then AI happened, and it was almost like, yeah, forget humans, we got it. And then very quickly, technology and our clients realized that no, there's not just one way of doing things. There has to be this support from technology, AI, plus HI that we call at Keyword Studios, human intelligence, to actually make sure that this is something that works. So we can't today, I am very bold saying it, leave everything to our human superheroes to be managed when it comes to moderation, for many reasons. Number 1, because it's not ethical to be paying lots of money for your gamers to be actually protected from toxic content and actually take the same content and giving it to other humans. We're in 2024, and that shouldn't be a thing. Like, there's kind of like that disparity that the gaming industry has always been aware of, and thankfully now we're changing. Number 2, the sheer volume that we see today in UGC, it's obviously double from 2 years ago, and we want to make sure that we are there looking at the right thing, so we can intervene in almost close to real time. And I'm talking specifically of real life threats. We cannot expect humans to continue to read chats, to look at pictures, and then expect that they're going to do it at the right time and then escalate it to authorities to do something. Technology really help us with that. Never mind extrapolating the forever changing pop culture, IP understanding. You're going to have new characters, you're going to have new lingo happening, and not just in English, in many languages. We do need technology for this. When it comes to the superheroes or moderators protections, that's something that we take obviously very serious. So technology is now at a point where they will help us post all the rainbows and kitties. They will block all the horrible racist, sexist, you name it, lingo that nobody has to see. The same with pictures. Pornography will be over there. And then our superheroes moderators are now working with a small portion that is not, number 1, soul killing, because that's what some of these images are, but also focusing on making the technology better. So it could be somebody in a very small swimming suit. That's fine, but it's not hardcore pornography or child abuse that they are looking at, right? So these are the pieces why technology is so important. I know also for history that developers are very smart, and many times have been asked, hey, I just can build a chat filter. You can, I have no doubt. The pain is to maintain it. The pain is to build another one for different languages. Who's going to continue to add all the different terms? All of the sudden, table became a thing, and you should table yourself and go table your mom and XYZ. How do you deal with that? That should be something that you are not working on. Let the experts take over that so you can focus on doing what you love. Okay, practical and functional moderation tools are also critical. We talk about it. We have to make sure that we are there in the right at the right time, especially when you're talking about human interactions and human threats. The tool should provide also information to the superheroes to make the right decisions. So when you put yourself into the role of a moderator superhero, the way that I describe it is like being in a room with 20,000 people, because that's what a moderator does. And then all of a sudden, all the eyes are on you, and you have to make a decision if this is okay to be seen by others or not. And this is a very high level example. No matter what today, the decision that you're going to make is going to have some pushback from the 70% or 30%. Somebody's going to push back on your decision. And you, as developers, can actually help us give those signals to the superheroes to make that decision. What kind of signals? I'm talking about the user reputation. What's the history? How many strikes? How many bans? How many mutes? Like all of these pieces are important to us in order to make a decision, and not just make the decision, but be able to justify that decision if the gamer comes back and tries to get more information into it. Number 5. Should I have a solution? Build it in-house, and how complicated can it be to build our own tool internally? My first answer to this question is always please don't. Please don't. This is a very tough task. Again, I'm biased, but I also experienced this for 5 years while I was working at Two Hat. One of the pieces that I continue to see even today is language is so vast. And when you talk about Spanish, for example, there's like 80 something countries that speak Spanish, but the Spanish that I speak in Mexico is different from the Spanish that they speak in Spain. And if I say something to a Spanish person, I might be offending her, even when it's our same language. So the nuances that you're going to find, and this is just one language. Imagine if you're talking about different languages within your game. The pop culture side of things, again, is changing by the minute. So we need to make sure that all of it has to be considered, but also top of mind and maintain every single day. You have to be also able to grab all this information, all this communication that is happening within your game or platform, and actually getting some data insights, because guess what, that's where the golden is. That's where the little nuggets of I like this, I don't like this is crashing. All of these needs to be actually joined for you as a developer or marketing. Even it's not just community manager that benefits from these tools. So all of this and all this complexity that I'm explaining is just to tell you, yes, you can build it. I'm pretty sure that there's many smart people that can do it. However, it is not recommended nowadays. Just we have partnerships with so many people nowadays, and we are able to go there and make sure that these specific technology partners provide the service that you need, again, so you can focus on something else. Okay, without enough time, money, and access to experts, you could be your own, as I was saying, but building in-house technology is time-consuming, costly, and it literally can become a 24-hour job. I want to come back to the previous one, if possible. Thank you. What does integrating technology or a third-party technology looks like, and how it comes to our superhuman moderators? Player submits content. It has to go usually through your platform first, so we can authenticate or validate the user, making sure that it is a user. All that these technologies need usually is user ID that it doesn't have to be the real one. You can hash it, you can map it to whatever you need, and the string of text or a URL if in case of videos or voice. Once the technology uses it, which is the little robot, what we as trust and safety and moderators do is prior these happens, we already have worked with our clients to make sure that technology is already tweaked, right? So make sure that that step is also considered when you are onboarding new technology, when you are integrating. There has to be this beta test for the technology that I know I don't have to say it, but many times it just goes on the tweaking, but there's no actual data going through, and clients don't learn about the tweaking not being correct until they are live. So there has to be this phase where we are able to actually try to break it to make sure that it's at the level of your terms of use. After that, the technology based on those standards that we have set up will decide if it's posted, if it's not posted, escalated. And that's where the superheroes come into the picture to, number one, take care of all of the escalations, make sure that the process of moderation is happening, banning, muting, all of it. Some of the tools already include that and it can be automated. Some of them, their job is to bring it up to superhero moderators for them to actually be able to action on it, and sometimes bring it up to our the law enforcement teams. Okay. Next one is going to be, I guess, the 5 takeaways. The one thing that I would love you to take from this session will be to make sure that you have this safety by design approach. The safety by design, what it means is that we are being proactive, that we are thinking about how these pieces can be misused, because believe me, even when you are doing it for the best reasons and for fun and for communities to thrive and the game to grow, these features will be abused. Is the nature of the job, is the nature of gaming, is the human nature. Even when it comes to it, we have what we call, I don't even know if I want to say it, but when we go into communities launching, we're waiting to see who's going to draw the first valid image, who's going to try to pass something through the filter, and we literally sometimes sit there with a counter, and usually it's around 12 to 14 seconds when people start trying to see what they can get away. If safety by design is top of mind, we are hoping to reduce these cases. Now, I'm talking about cases of bad language or drawing something that is not supposed to be there. But when we go a little bit farther, and when we have seen all the different challenges, like child pornography, child abuse, terrorism, radicalization, any of these different challenges that we continue to actually try to go uphill, safety by design becomes even more important, not only for your game, not only for users, not only for moderators, but actually for the real life world. We are able now to, in close to real time, pass this kind of threats to authorities and save lives because of the insight that we have into the tools, the insight that we have into the users. There's many restrictions nowadays, but we can still do a lot if we work together with developers. Build in-game moderation features is something that we, as moderators, really appreciate. At Keyword Studios, we work with many clients, and we see the different levels of toolings that they provide to our superheroes to do their job. There's ones that are like the Cadillacs of it. There's the other ones that are skateboards, and they have to / user ID ban. However it is that you want to present these tools to the superheroes, it's always very recommended that you sit down with community managers, with moderation teams, trust and safety, and be like, okay, what do you need? It really, through my career, I have seen how much of back and forth can be. Once the game is out there, once the tools are out there, everybody's out for the race, everybody's focusing on the next milestone, and fixing moderation tools or adding to moderation tools is never a priority. However, it's key to the safety and the revenue even of the game. So if we were to take that time at the beginning to sit down and actually design them for the people that will be utilizing them,
Seems like my AirPods have died. I hope you still can hear me. I don't see any notes here. So you hear me? Yes, thank you so much. Okay, number 3, third-party moderation technology is a cost-effective solution for all of the reasons that I have mentioned before. It's gonna cost you more to fix it later, believe me. More headaches, more effort, more money, players leaving your game. It's already so hard to get a player into your game. Imagine finally dropping users and the first thing that they hear or read is, get the F out of here, what are you doing here, newbie? And there it goes, your money walking away, right? So making sure that technology is in place, that the moderation or moderators have those tools, it's gonna reflect on your bottom line. It's gonna save you, again, lots of time, effort, and more than anything, nowadays and any times, the reputation of the game. We have seen many times having amazing games that people rather either not to engage in terms of the voice chat, not to talk to anyone. They say, like, I just go do my thing. I don't want to talk to anyone. I would love to, but every time I turn it on, it's just so toxic. In best case scenario, worst case scenario, they just walk away from your game. So it is an investment of time and money at the beginning, but the revenue that we see during the life of the game is way higher. And finally, the combination that we continue to push to the industry of AI plus HI. We cannot nowadays take one or the other as the right answer. AI plus HI continues to push forward within the gaming industry in the best case scenario. I always get, or lately, I've been getting this question: are you worried that AI is going to replace your HI? When it comes to moderation, when it comes to all the different nuances that we're talking about within the language, within the different languages, game, audience, age, topic of the game, lingos, pop culture. If anything, I see AI as one of the main tools in our tool belt that we were talking about when we talk about the different signals. This piece of AI really gives us and paints the map of the different pieces that we need to consider in order to act as superheroes or moderators. So that combination is also beneficial, not only to HI, but also to AI. The way that we work is, if humans find that something is not working on the different models, we are able to come back to AI and obviously retrain the models based on what our superheroes have learned. And that piece continues to be something that AI is not yet so good at. I don't want to generalize it, but humans understand the nuance. Humans would challenge bias. Humans have their own life experience, and they are helping AI learn more about that and get better. With this, the cases that were great at one point, they become either positive or negative, and that's fine. This middle line is never going to end, because again, there's so many nuances, so many changes within the language and pop culture, that we will always have this gray area, but we just continue to feed the AI more and more of our expertise to make sure that we don't see more of the same cases. Finally, why should community health and moderation matter to you? Because your work is critical in ensuring player safety. By implementing safety by design principles and building proactive moderation features, you can help prevent and detect harm online and in real life too. Very big and high level closing speech here. The increase that we have seen on UGC that involves kids on real life threats is something that is alarming. And you have the opportunity to help us decrease that. So when I talk to developers, is number one, all my admiration, because I think you guys are who are guiding where gaming is going. But number two, I see you two as allies on this never ending and sadly growing challenge that we face every single day, not only as the superheroes, but as society, where you can really create an impact if we were to have safety by design in top of mind when you're designing your own tools, different ways of playing, different futures. That's where you can create that overall impact. Okay, this is how it ends. If you scan this, you can have all of the different documentation that we have referred on this presentation. You will have the reports, you will have different pieces that I was talking about where you can look into the legality of things. So just scan it and you'll get more information about it. Where's Parker?
Hello, I've come back. I just want to leave the QR code up there for a little while. You're not alone anymore. Oh goodness, that was fantastic. Oh my God, it is a fascinating world you work in.
It's amazing.
It's incredible, and it's a lot of things with moderation that you like. I don't think about, I guess, even from both a developer and a player perspective. My weird question, I don't know how weird this one is, but is there much of a difference when it comes down to moderation for games that are intended for children versus games intended for adults? Is it similar? Is it different? Is one easier than the other in any way, shape, or form? Or
I think the one that is intended for kids, we will always have like an overprotective approach, right?
Yeah.
However, and sadly, what we have learned is that now we have to take care of our kids and adults, whatever it is happening, right? So we can see obviously the kids games being more protected and a little bit more close, and we are focusing on kids, but we can see games that are not for kids that we have now to look more into radicalization, for example.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not talking about kids, but we might be talking about young men, women, they, like, whatever it is, like, we need to make sure that trust and safety and the moderation side of things really doesn't get too comfortable. Okay, this is like an over 18, we're good. There's so many challenges that we're facing now that in the past the perception was just kids games need moderation.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like
It's everything.
Sadly,
Everything,
we know
unfortunately.
anywhere and everywhere. Yeah.
There's one question that came up earlier, and I think I can bring it on screen, which is gonna be even funnier in 2 seconds here. How are you so cool and smart at the same time?
Oh, you guys. No, not those ones.
Sorry, that was my favorite. I had to.
You know, I'm Mexican and a woman. What can I say? There.
Oh, good. Any other questions? I'm like looking through everything here. You covered a lot. There was, and actually Leah was really helpful. She shared some of the articles that you had referenced in chat, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it's the best.
And some of it's just, especially the world map about like, oh my God, it was what is actually in law, what is actually being worked into the law, and like those different aspects, but also like the key topics that seem to be consideration as well is like, I don't know. It's really just something you don't think of unless, I guess, this is your
brace for impact. Brace for impact. This really takes me back to GDPR, pre-GDPR times, where we were all like, "It's coming, it's coming. What's coming? I don't know, but it's coming." Right? So we are right there now. The complexity is even bigger because, again, to your point, it's everywhere around the globe, right? So it is not just one entity asking for something. It's every single country, not every, but many countries actually setting the bar at different levels, different timings, different reasons. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. All right. What's the next big challenge for trust and safety?
AI.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, as much as I see it as an ally, I also see it as a threat. I am sure that as in anything else in life, there's going to be the positives coming out of it, but also the negatives. And the way that I fear it will get is like they will get to understand the user so well. They will know that I'm Mexican, that I have kids, and then at one point that will be the one comment harassing me and hurting me in right where it hurts. And that's probably one of the lesser of the evils. There's going to be many other ways that the user is going to be profiled, and that's why technology partnerships are so key to us, because we are trying to work with them to, if not get ahead, at least have plans, contingency plans for them to help us, the good AI versus the bad AI, and try to level the ground for everyone.
I've not thought of AI getting used for evil exactly like that, but now I'm
don't believe me. You see this? This is why you don't say,
I'm coming after you and I have nightmares tonight.
I know. My kids define my job as something that she does really good, but you don't want to know about it.
But no. Yeah. Oh, goodness. All right, we have another question. So this is from Astral Gamer over on Twitch. Are there any associations between the level of safety toxicity in a game and the community team's main channels of communication? So Twitter versus TikTok versus Facebook. For example, if you have a heavy community on Twitter outside of a game, does there tend to be more problems than, say, a community around that has specifically a Discord or Facebook? Just curious if that's ever come up.
We see it very often, and as trusted safety advisors, what we always say is you have to make sure that the same terms of use that you're utilizing in-game also transport to the different social media. Now, the challenge that we continue to face is that all of these platforms that were mentioned, they have their own moderation tools and their own moderation beliefs. So their bar can be different. Obviously, Facebook versus TikTok.
Yeah.
Never mind X, they have different bar on what's allowed and what's not allowed, right? So that's where the human interaction or human intervention is needed, because that's the only way that you can try as much as possible mimic what you have said in game is acceptable versus what the topic in X is going to be like. You're going to need some extra help in order to align your terms of use across the board.
Oh, goodness.
And just to close that one, yes, what we see is that in-game you have a healthy community, and then they go into Discord and because there's no bad connection made yet.
Unfortunate. Another question from Max: What would be the first step for a developer to familiarize themselves with the importance of moderation? This is a really good one.
I think is again, start by, and I know this is a Debbie Downer comment, but if you were to see the impact that all of this is having in the world, how many cases continue to be escalated because of online interactions to low authorities, I think if you start from mindset of like, this is a problem, this is the solution that I can give to it. And I say it this way because developers are the ones that have that brain, that like amazing intelligence, right? So whatever I can say can do here, I'm gonna be wrong. They know, but if they know the size of the problem, the challenges that we're facing, I am hoping that this will be the solution to decrease this one.
So it sounds like just even becoming familiar with the issues. It's really that's a lot of risk mitigation in general, is being aware of what risks could happen or what might happen. And it sucks because it means you have to be thinking in a very particular mindset, but it's true, because then you realize, oh no, this is very important. This is something I have to prioritize. And this is something that, I probably should find a good partner to work with. Because like you said earlier, you could make something yourself. You really, who's got time for that?
No. And that was one of the realizations also at DevCon, that even I don't believe the developers don't do it because they don't want to, but when they don't have the full picture, when you think that community is just to engage and there's bad words and that's the worst can happen, then obviously they are not affected by it or surprised by it. But it's not until you say like, actually, that's the result and this is how horrible it is. That's when it's like, wait a minute, like I can help this side.
Yeah. Is there any good resources you can think of off the top of your head that would be good places for developers to look to get more familiarized? I mean, some of the articles I know that were shared in chat that you've had within there are probably good places to start, but I don't know if there's any Any good
Yeah,
places?
there's definitely the non-profit, some of them, but there's also in hope, anything that has to do with the escalation of the different topics, because
Yeah.
again, there's active fence, for example, they are really good on the terrorism investigation side of things, right? Like there's again, in hope, that is going to give you a little bit more of information on the specific
Yeah.
harm.
That's so fair. Yeah, regional and stuff like that too. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Leah noted there's some great reasons in the QR code, which I'll throw up again in a little bit, because that is huge to know. We'll just sneak that in there as we get the next question. Got one more, and then we'll see about wrapping it up. But aside from technology as a frontline support system and filter, how can we ensure our trust and safety teams and community teams keep themselves in good spirits? What do you do with your teams to keep things lighter? Really, yeah, taking care of, how do you take care of the human intelligence part of everything here that's on that side? And unfortunately, like yourself, has to think about this every day.
Yeah, so that's why number one, we have called them superheroes, and this is not a marketing plot for the industry to take notice that these people is working on the sidelines, saving lives by looking at horrible content sometimes, right? So they have been the unsung heroes of the internet for the longest time. We are putting them up front and actually asking our clients to put technology even before that, so they are protected, number one, right? And with that, we have seen obviously a huge decrease on the content that they are exposed to. Now, the way that we do it is from the get-go, not just because you speak another language, you can be a superhero. There has to be other qualities to it. Are you aware of your bias? Are you willing to get help? Because here we are building all this program for you, but if you tell me every day that you're okay and you don't need it, then that's something that it's gonna hit you at one point. We have the everyday, monthly, weekly, annual care that we call it the armor. So you're a superhero, which is not sending you that with the title. We need to give you an armor. And that armor means that we care who are we hiring. We make sure that we onboard you, and we go into like a day and a half of well-being. These are, who are you? How do you get okay when you are stressed out? Like, make your first aid kit pretty much if you happen to need it. And then weekly, daily, their leadership is in touch with them, and how are you doing, and how's your fire, how are you doing. We have the tap out option. If you have had enough of this project, you don't need to tell us more. Just tap out. And our house is really big. We'll give you another room. Having this open communication, because I think for the longest time, it's been mental health. If you say something about it, you are like, okay, you're out. That's how the industry continues to do it. No, like, this is a safe house. This is a safe space. And overall, the magic that is happening with my teams is that because we care, they stay on the projects. They are so committed. They are adding value that I never imagined they will bring, because they said themselves, like, it's not just their every day is better. At home, they are better because their every day is better, right? So it is an effect that I continue to get really touched by, because we are thinking about you as a superhero, but in general, we're making their overall life more of a quality life.
That is beautiful in so many ways. And I feel like that is something that should be taken to all areas of HR, really, realistically, in all areas of all roles, but especially above all else in moderation. It's really putting that trust in the whole trust and safety piece, but making sure that your team trusts you to take it seriously when they say, hey, I've had enough. Hey, I can't do this. But also trusting them to be able to tell you that information. It's beautiful. And I love that point you said about building a first aid kit. My therapist has previously talked about having, what is your medicines? What helps you when things aren't so great? And that's taking it up a notch entirely. And I love that.
And that's another point too, that we also, in that same vein, take in consideration is well-being for everyone looks different. Sometimes for me it's chocolate at 4 a.m. Don't tell anyone. Sometimes
totally.
When the sunshine, and sometimes it is meditation and yoga. Everything is very different for everyone in the stage that you are. And we are open to that too. And that's why we tell our superheroes is whatever makes your soul happy at that moment. Right?
I love it. They are very much superheroes. And I think that is the best note I think we could possibly end on here. I will share the QR code again really quick with everybody as we kind of go out. But is there any kind of last notes, anything that you wanted to leave us with, Sharon?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I will continue to ask developers to pull us in any kind of conversation. It literally, when you're developing, it will be a 30-minute, 1-hour conversation that will save not just money, not just time, but lives at the end of it.
Yeah.
So let's get together.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything today. This was fantastic. I learned a lot, nightmares aside, but it was fantastic.
Welcome to my life.
Oh gosh, I don't envy you. I admire you so much, though. Thank you to everybody who's been in chat, who's watching the video afterwards. Thank you for engaging and everything, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.